Greetings, citizens of Podcast City. I ask you to look upon me and heed my warning. As of this moment, you are all now fully aware that the following program is rated mature and is intended solely for those of the legal age to smoke, vote, and purchase pornography. If you find yourself at all easily disturbed by the harsh realities of obscene language, then perhaps you should turn back now before your mind becomes permanently stained with the wicked ways of professional wrestling. Every conceivable form of listener and viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
Let's get nuts.
Pull the fucking trigger! My kids, I'm hateful, I'm the tattoo clown. I'm screaming, nothing really matters, motherfucker, burn it down. Listen up now. Stricker Samu, Gangrel, and WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi. Do I have your attention yet? Good! Revolution Wrestling Federation Treasure Trove Toys, along with Sugar Daddy Productions, presents Resurgence, a showcase of the absolute best talents at Harrisburg Midtown Arts Center, featuring appearances from Gangrel, the Head Shrinkers, live August 29th at 6 p.m., featuring the double main event as RWF champion, the Japanese sensation Mr. Ping defends his RWF championship against Michael Zamado, as well as the Lights Out Battle of the Kings, as the King of Hardcore Rob Notches goes one-on-one with the King of Salvation Mal Havoc in a special New Jack City street fight. Also on the bill will be Marvelous Malcolm King, as he'll defend his RWF Internet Championship. The world's most dangerous arachnid, the Red Scorpion. 7 foot tall, 400 pounds, bulletproof Dorian Black, Andy Header, and many, many more. Sunday, August 29th, Resurgence, 6 p.m. Harrisburg Midtown Arts Center in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The revolution is now.
Yeah, I messed that up on the end of our intro. Guys, I cut it a little short, so here's the end of the intro.
That's Floyd. Floyd!
Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
Had to get it in there because I wouldn't have the end of it if I didn't. Welcome to another fantabulous Tuesday of Off the Ropes Tuesday. I am the Podcast Kid, joined by Jack Torrance and Nighthawk.
Welcome, friends.
Friends and colleagues of all ages. Revolution Wrestling Federation this weekend, August 29th, Harrisburg, Virginia. Make sure you get out there. Revolution WrestlingFederation.com. Go get your tickets for their event. Kick-ass little federation out there in Pennsylvania. Go get your shit. Go see an event. Go support the locals. That's all I got to say about that.
Roger that. It's unfortunate that we are so far away.
It is, because I wouldn't mind going to partake in a wrestling extravaganza.
It's always a hoot, my friends, in case you've never bought the ticket in the ride. I know there's a lot of wrestling fans out there, believe it or not, who've never actually been to a live wrestling show. And I tell you, folks, especially on the independent scene, you can have a lot of fun there.
Did you see her finger go up when you said wrestling fans have not attended?
Wowie wee-woo. This is breaking news here.
I thought you knew. I'm so sorry.
Senorita Nighthawk has never attended a show, huh? I thought by now, you would have been clamoring to get a little closer to your boy Roman there.
Someday.
One day. That'll always be the dream, huh?
Oh, lots happened in the week. AEW, SummerSlam, returns, belt changes. There's
hair buns. Don't forget about hair buns.
That look like onions. Fucking onion head.
Yeah, buddy. This weekend really was ruled by professional wrestling when you think about it. Between Friday night and all the way through Sunday, even a lot of crazy stuff took place over the course of about 48 hours or so there. No doubt about it. And we're going to get to all of that and then some tonight. We will also be breaking down our list of who we feel were the greatest ladies who ever stepped inside the squared circle. Yes, tonight is ladies' night here on Off the Ropes Tuesdays. And that will be our main event of the evening. But yes, as my podcast partner, the podcast kid, did mention, a whole lot of shit happened this week, buddy.
And we got birthdays. We got some birthdays. Miss Nighthawk is going to grace us with who's getting older, who should be pulled off life support.
Sure.
Who's checking into geriatric park as we speak?
Who's getting into the bedpan? Who's getting the bedpan?
Right?
Steve Austin.
It's Dr. Stone Cold, yes.
Should we do that now, or do you guys want to?
Why not?
Let's
take it away, Nighthawk.
Let's go.
Let's celebrate.
We're gonna save the best for last.
It's a celebration.
All right. I don't know these people, so.
I hope you know their names.
Tino Sabatelli.
I bet he's Italian.
Apparently is in NXT. You never know. It is professional wrestling. You don't actually have to be Italian to have an Italian-sounding name. So.
That also could not be his real name, as we know.
Because Vince didn't name him when he was born, so he can't own his name. So therefore, he has to change it.
I'm sure he was sure as shit try.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. He's probably like George Costanza in that episode of Seinfeld where he's determined not to let the people name their kid Seven. He's out there in the ER like, let me tell you what this kid's got to be named, damn it. He makes pregnant, expecting mothers cry all the time. I can see it.
I can see that.
Oh, yeah.
It is Vince.
Sounds like Vince guy.
Oh, sorry.
Gran Metalik. Can you say that, Nighthawk?
Nope.
All right.
Well, Power Ranger.
Not like that.
Happy birthday to Gran Metalik.
And I guess his finisher is the Metalik Driver.
Even though the way it's spelled, Metalik, it looks like
Metalik.
Metalik, yes. He's Gran Torino Metalik.
Metallic. I think that was.
Metallic. Yes, that's the smart one right there.
It is pronounced Metalik, though. I do know that. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. No, Gran Metalik. I know. I've heard of him. Yes. I am quite a nerd, as you know, when it comes to professional wrestling. I don't get out of the house much, so yeah, I actually know who that is. And evidently today, it is his birthday. That is some interesting stats you have on him there, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Is that his stats from like a video game?
That's his prisoner of war count, 8,357. He's
done 8,427 speedballs.
taking good hits, TGH, 8,305.
And he's fought Chara 8,391 times.
He's fought the San Diego Police Department 8,427. So yes, Gran Metalik is a birthday boy today, apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll never know. Maybe he's like Rey Mysterio, take that mask off, and he still looks like a baby, no matter how old he gets.
Maybe Rey Mysterio is really Dominic, and Dominic is really Rey Mysterio.
Ooh, so that means Eddie almost adopted Rey.
Plot twist.
The plot twist.
It's like an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie here. The plot thickens. Your burrs. So
we got
what you got there next there, Miss Nighthawk? Who we blowing candles out for now?
Our absolute favorite person in the whole world.
No chance it's your birthday.
I wish I had known it was his birthday, because I would have pulled the clip of Austin hitting him with a bedpan.
Yes, treasured memories, my friends.
Oh.
Treasured indeed. Mm-hmm.
Vincent McMahon Jr.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Sorry.
Don't
Can't forget the fucking Kennedy.
Mm-hmm. Exactamundo. So do we happen to know exactly how old Vinnie Mac turns today?
I will.
Life support old. I think he's like 76.
76.
If I'm correct, which is not too often.
All right, just to keep things interesting, I'll say 77.
And Nighthawk, the winner is?
76.
Take it away, Diggs. Look at that. Touchdown. Vinnie Mac, 76, and still definitely in better shape than me. No doubt about that.
And I'll ever be.
Yeah, right. Better than I was when I was even like 21.
I mean, a guy who can walk down the aisle and pull 2 quad muscles. I mean, shit.
I'm surprised that didn't, I'm really surprised that didn't happen to me at your wedding. That would have been like the 10th time my knee exploded.
That would have been pretty epic.
Yeah, would have added
It
to
would
the
have been more epic if we busted out like a hardcore brawl at my wedding. Me, you, and
Well,
Jay.
I mean, I got to say, that was the only wedding I've ever been to where I got to come out to Pantera, so that was pretty sweet. So thanks, dude.
Just for you guys.
Peachy Keen. But anywho, yes, Vinnie Mac is now 76 years old. I'm kind of curious, what does one get for Vince McMahon's birthday? What as a gift? What exactly would you get Vince?
AEW tickets.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. That's I mean, can you imagine? I'll bet I wouldn't be surprised if they do some like, oh, is that your present to Vince there?
I would leave it on his doorstep. Yeah.
Living Dead doll? Is that well then he'd just think it's from Alexa Bliss, I guess, with oh God, what's that
Lily.
stupid doll? Yeah, Lily there. So yes, but Vince, I wonder if he has meetings where like everyone has to bring him a present. And he judges you based on what you got him.
Or it's like that scene off the Christmas Story. With
Yeah.
Put it
Oh,
on
your
there,
Christmas vacation. Yeah. All right, greaseball.
Griswold, sir. My family, I got you this present. Put it
Get
on
me
there.
someone, anyone, and get me someone while I'm waiting. But yeah, so Vinnie Mac's still going strong there at the early age of 76.
So what do you think, since we're on Vinnie Mac in 76 and being old and Alzheimer's, what's your thoughts on the rumors that I posted in our chat about Vinnie Mac possibly stepping down?
Well, that does, in fact, bring us to our weekly World Wrestling News portion of the show.
Look at
Because
that segue.
nice little segue there, buddy. I dig it. Yeah, apparently WWE President Nick Khan was asked in an interview this past week if Vince McMahon had any plans to sell the company anytime in the next year. He responded by saying, quote, "We're open for business. If somebody calls, we'll listen, but we're not active. We're not out in the marketplace trying to change that structure," end quote. So I'm guessing the show that he was asked about this on, this is all coming in response to these crazy cuts that WWE's made in the last 6 months. I would have to imagine, because it's made everybody very curious as to what is going on exactly in Stamford, Connecticut. It wasn't just financial problems because of COVID. Are they trying to go in a different direction? Or is there a for sale sign outside of Titan Towers there? So the fact that they're even kind of entertaining this thought whatsoever, I find most peculiar about this whole shenanigans, if you will. I mean, he didn't say anything set in stone like, yeah, we're looking to sell, but the fact that he even hinted at the fact that somebody, from what I gather, he's saying if somebody made us the right offer, we're gonna
talking. We're
yeah,
listening.
right.
And it's kind of funny because a few weeks ago, that was one of my points to Vince dumping 12 NXT guys and all these other big cuts, that he's trying to dwindle away the WWE, so that way when he leaves and if it fails, it's not on him.
That is a very good point. It very well could be the case. I don't think he would dog anybody like that, though.
Not with Stephanie and Triple H still involved, and Stephanie being the princess daughter, Triple H, marrying into the family. And to your point, I don't think he would dog him like that, but I wouldn't put it past him to keep dropping talent. That's on his payroll. And that has been the case now for months on end. I think regardless, though, even if the time came where, say, even in the next 5-10 years, the WWE actually, went on the market, for lack of a better term, I don't see Vince ever stepping down until he's dead. He's going to be like George Steinbrenner. He's going to be in that chair as a CEO till he is officially in the grave. But they could still sell the company with the condition that Vince still, acts as CEO.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of curiosity there as to these statements made by Mr. Nick Khan, current WWE president. So
the other rumor with Nick Khan, from what I heard, he came out and said Raw could benefit from a 4th hour.
If I'm not mistaken, I think, didn't you bring this up last week or something?
No,
I might be wrong there. But
SmackDown going for a third hour.
yes. Okay, thank you for the correction.
Mr. President there of the WWE thinks, rumor has it that he's thinking of possibly a 4th hour of Raw.
Are you fucking insane? Why? It's already too long as it is.
You're not going to attract newer viewers.
No,
Ratings
dude.
aren't going to go up by adding that extra hour when you have the same exact lineup every week. Yes, you'll be able to sell more commercial spots, make more money that way, but your shareholder revenue is not going to go up by adding an extra hour.
Well, no one's going to want to advertise on you if nobody's watching it.
This is true too.
Unlike, the NHL or the NFL, where, as a fan, I watch a 3.5 hour, sometimes overtime 4 hour friggin' football game. A hockey game goes to sudden death. Hey, I'm there for the whole ride. But you got to know your audience, and WWE fans are not like hockey and NFL fans in the fact that it's a whole different spectrum. This stuff comes quick. That's what they want. It's not, you can't do every week. What are you going to do? Like an Iron Man match every week just to fill a whole hour? I mean, I think that would be cool, but it's not the same. There's only certain things you can hold someone's attention, especially this day and age, for that amount of time. If you're a football fan, hockey fan, like I said, that's where you can get away with it. Otherwise, I mean, why do you think they don't even make most big time primetime movies that come out for years now are always a runtime of about 90 minutes because people, average person doesn't want to go see a 3 hour movie unless it's something they really are into. So,
I mean, the Marvel movies are an exception because people want to go see the comic book characters. Those are about 2.5 hours.
Right, but they know their audience depending on the movie and whatnot. This is just stupid. You can't go 4 hours. Everyone even said a couple years ago when WrestleMania ran for I don't even know. It didn't end until after 1 a.m. It was the year Becky Lynch beat Ronda Rousey and Charlotte in the main event.
Yep.
And I remember being at my buddy's house watching it. Wyatt Riot, Single H, you guys will know this because I was at your house. It got to the point it was literally pushing 1 a.m. And my boy Wyatt's like, hey, man, do you mind if I bring you home? Because I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. I was like, yeah, no problem, dude. By the time I got all the way to my house, the main event had just not even started. So, and people were up in arms about that because it was just too damn long. So the fact that they're even entertaining an idea of 4 hour Raw just shows that you guys are idiots. Just maybe you should sell the company right now.
Right, exactly. Don't mind me. I'm just doing something real quick here.
Yeah, no, it's just it's really dumb. Really dumb.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, to do, like you said, the 4 hours, if you want to bring it back, you want to get more viewers, bring it back to 2 hours. Get rid of the everyone has a title.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of the fact that they split up the tag team titles, for example. There's the Raw and SmackDown titles. Then there's 2 women's title. And then there's 2 championship titles for men as well. I never liked any of that. Cut it back down to 2 hours. Give us the best of the shit instead of spreading out what you got that's good and just thinning it out so much that it gets to the point it's like, all right, I don't care.
And that's going to come up, I think, when we talk about SummerSlam later. I'm not going to dive too far into it, but who are you going to have feud now with Lashley and Reigns?
Oh, trust me. Yeah, we'll get to that in SummerSlam because I got a lot to say about that, actually.
Because if you only had the one belt like they've had, you could have Reigns feud with Lashley, and that would be a hell of a feud.
Yep, exactly. You're open to a lot more possibilities with fewer titles. Exactly.
So, I mean, we'll go into that more in the SummerSlam aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. But I guess then moving on from everything of Vince and his cellar roommate rumors and all this other jibba jabba. Earlier today, Earlier today, the WWE released unaired footage of Brock Lesnar attacking John Cena after SummerSlam went off the air this past Saturday night. So, well, look at our old buddy Joshua Snare is back in the house. What's up, pal?
Josh? Welcome back to the show.
Yes, sir. Welcome aboard once again. We missed you, buddy. Good to have you on the program again. So that was some of that. That's something I haven't seen them really do in a while, where they do something really big post-show that they don't air on the old pay-per-view. So I guess, didn't Cena, I could have sworn after the match, Cena had left the ring, right?
After SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Cena got his ass handed to him.
No, but after the match, when Roman was all still before, Lesnar came out and everything, I thought Cena had actually left the ring, but I guess I was wrong because he was still out there. And after the match, there's now footage of Brock coming in and destroying him like he did so many years ago after Brock came back from the old UFC. So
we're just going to call Brock Onion Head.
Onion Head. Yes. Let's see here.
Still say that he looks like Bowser if you took the shell off.
I love the Mario reference. Yes, it's true. I'll give you that. And let's see here. Speaking of the old 2021 SummerSlam, it was reportedly the most viewed and highest grossing SummerSlam in the pay-per-view's history. The seven-figure global audience showed a 55% increase from last year and a 29% increase in viewership over the 2019 edition of SummerSlam. And last night's Monday Night Raw also saw its highest ratings since this past January, but we all know why. It's only because everyone's like, ooh, night after SummerSlam, let's see if something happens. Chances are it won't.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Adam Cole's WWE contract will expire this coming Friday, and it was announced that he is no longer a part of the NXT brand after his loss to Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver 36. It is believed that Cole will leave the WWE altogether unless he's offered an appropriate new deal before Friday. And that's big news for anyone who is a fan of the Bullet Club, because if Adam Cole leaves WWE, you pretty much can guarantee he's going to go to AEW. And that means basically, aside from AJ Styles and Finn Balor, you got a whole lot of the Bullet Club in AEW. So keep your eye out to see what the future holds for Mr. Cole. In other NXT news, Samoa Joe returned to the WWE and in-ring action when he defeated Karrion Kross to become the new NXT champion this past Sunday night at NXT TakeOver 36. This one came as a big surprise to me because if you recall, it was Samoa Joe who was the first big name cut that WWE had all those months ago now.
So did they just cut him to drop him to NXT to bring some more fire to NXT? What's the brain thought behind that?
Yeah, I don't get it. He was commentating for a while, and it was understood that he was hurt, but he was going to come back at some point. And so what was the point of letting him go? It wasn't part of the storyline or anything. They actually legit let him go from the company. And he was even throwing up tweets, I remember, along with his best friend CM Punk, kind of hinting at the fact that he might even go to AEW with Punk, but then they just brought him back. It's kind of like Lesnar. Couple weeks or whatever ago, it was reported that Brock Lesnar was no longer with WWE. They weren't re-signing him. Of course, all the rumors went he was going to go to AEW. I bought it hook, line, and sinker like a dum-dum. But I don't see the point in doing this. It doesn't really, in the Samoa Joe's case especially, it wasn't like it was some big, oh my God, Samoa Joe's back thing. It was just like, cool, Samoa Joe's here, and Samoa Joe kicks ass. So, Raj, but I'm happy for him because I love Samoa Joe. I actually, once again, just like pretty much any wrestler I love, I wish he had just gone to AEW. But Joe's a badass. Glad to see him have some gold on him again. Once again, to me, this is just another thing proving why NXT is still the best thing WWE has to offer right now. If only Vince could see that. But thanks to his 76-year-old cataracts, I guess he can't.
He almost has full-timers, so.
Right? Oh, he's about there. He's past the half-timers point, I think, considering some of the business moves he's made in the past year. And, well, there's no big surprise about it. The biggest news of the week, probably of the year, was the fact that after 7 years, CM Punk has returned as he made his AEW debut this past Friday night on Rampage. And boy, this was everything I was hoping it was going to be. For the last 7 years, you know, everybody knows it. There really has been very few wrestling shows that have gone by, whether it's WWE or AEW or any company, without the fans chanting CM Punk's name at some point. No other wrestler in the entire history of wrestling that I can recall has had his name chanted for 7 years still after he's left the business altogether. This was so well done by AEW. I thought they really nailed it. All the fans knew he was coming back, and it wasn't like one of these, oh, will he, won't he things. It was pretty much a done deal without them even saying it. And then they just played it out so perfectly. He got one of the greatest ovations you'll ever see. AEW, I believe, got their biggest ratings they've ever had. Everybody came out on top here. I know that I've read a lot of things that people were trying to say, oh, you know, Brock coming back had better ratings because it was bigger than Punk coming back. Like, you guys are idiots for saying that. No, you are so wrong. No, CM Punk coming back is the biggest thing that's happened in pro wrestling probably in the last decade, even though he was still wrestling fucking 7 years ago. But it was pretty awesome. It was everything I was personally hoping for. And he even issued a challenge to Darby Allin. Didn't waste any time. And he, from what I found out today, he is on the poster, if you will, for the upcoming AEW pay-per-view in just a few weeks there at All Out on September 5th, I believe it is. So we might be seeing CM Punk back in action in the squared circle for the first time in over 7 years, going up against Darby Allin. That would be worth ordering the pay-per-view alone just for that match. Not just because it's Punk's first match back, just because the two of them, I know
Punk
together.
and Darby Allin are...
Oh, it'll be amazing. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, by the way, for everyone who's watching, you're going to see me constantly itching my nose. I swear I'm not doing cocaine.
It's that little booger sugar.
I just really have fucking some sort of allergy shit's going on, so I apologize for all the itchy scratchy here. I'm not on drugs. Well, if you call,
come on now.
I'll even, you know, maybe some green smokage, but that's about it.
Definitely some Aleve.
Oh yeah, my tooth sucks.
And some icy hot.
I'm like Shack Attack now. Goes on hot, comes on cold.
And for anyone that out there is watching, we are broadcasting live on our Facebook pages this time around, bringing you the SummerSlam recap, give you guys what you want out there in Facebook world. Please go like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, to the Facebook page. We would greatly appreciate it because we like to do what we do, and we want you guys to enjoy it too.
And we do it all for you. Woo!
I just want to put this up for a second.
Yes. See, we're surfing on the same wave there, Nighthawk. That's my nose right now. It's fights and bites, fights and bites and bites. Maybe my nose has fleas. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, what do we want to go to next?
Well, since we were just on the topic of Dynamite, do you want to get the old Dynamite deposition out the way?
Might as well get it done so we can get cracking into...
We'll keep it in order here.
Yes.
We'll get cracking on lacking. Coming up next, folks, we're going to sizzle up some SummerSlam, followed by the greatest women in professional wrestling history. But first, it is time for your AEW Dynamite deposition for August the 18th, 2021. Darby Allin and Sting defeated 2.0 in a tag team Texas Tornado match this past Wednesday night. This was Sting's first match back on TNT in 20 years. And let me tell you, his boy Tony Schiavone couldn't have been happier. Sounded like a little commentator in a candy store he did. 2.0 gave Darby Allin a double suplex on his skateboard. And Sting even took a double power bomb through a table during this match that ended with Sting delivering a double Scorpion Death Drop and locking on the Scorpion Death Lock for the victory. This was awesome. They killed it on this one. Totally knocked it out. Sting got to hand it to him, man. He looked awesome. And the fact that they made this a Texas tornado match, I knew right from the get-go. I was like, wow, really? They're all right, this is either gonna suck or it's gonna be awesome. And they crushed it. So tip my hat to the Stinger, man. He's still making it happen. Sammy Guevara then upended Sean Spears in a fantastic grade A quality contest, much to the delight of his hometown Houston crowd. Sammy actually earlier in the day when they were filming AEW Dark came out and proposed to his longtime girlfriend right in front of the crowd. So it was quite a day for Samuel. And honestly, dude, he got one of the best hometown crowd reaction pops from the crowd that I have seen somebody get in a long time. Dr. Britt got it in Pittsburgh there last week or whatever it was, but young Samuel, he's having quite a week there. Then American Top Team founder Dan Lambert came out and called out Lance Archer, who was then attacked by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I didn't really understand what this one was going, so we'll see. Then, though, however, the Dynamite stocks just kept on a-climbing as the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, walked away with their titles intact after they fought their way to a victory over Jurassic Express members Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy Jack Perry in what was the third 5-star matchup in a row last Wednesday night as Dynamite was firing on all cylinders down in the little state of Texas. Telling you, 3 matches in a row. They were just like, wow, holy shit. Each one of them totally main event worthy. The Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears one, again, I didn't say much about that one aside from Sammy being the hometown boy, but it was a damn good match. And let's see here, where was I? Yes, this match was a great example of why I believe the tag team division in AEW to be superior to that of WWE's at this point in time. There's no question that the Young Bucks are definitely the greatest tag team in the world right now. I don't care what anybody says. So AEW's making it happen. Next up, Paul White, the Big Show, for all of you who don't know his real name, announced to the world that he will have his first match in AEW when he takes on QT Marshall coming up next month at the All Out pay-per-view. Back in the ring, Thunder Rosa scored another win as she forced Penelope Ford to tap out. And in the main event of the evening, it was finally time for the 5th and final labor of Jericho as Chris Jericho squared off against MJF. Despite giving it his all, and after 5 weeks in a row of brutal punishment, in the end, Chris Jericho was forced to submit to the Salt of the Earth reverse armbar, thus making MJF the winner in a finish that came as quite as a surprise to me, as I found the fact that Jericho lost to be a little anticlimactic after a very captivating storyline that lasted for as long as it did. But nonetheless, it was an excellent match that capped off a phenomenal show. So I don't know if this is going to be it for the whole Jericho MJF feud. I really kind of doubt it, but I don't know where else they can take it from here. But if this was, in fact, the last hurrah for now, it was a damn good match nonetheless. And that, boils and ghouls, is your Dynamite. This is the Scatman portion of the show. The AEW Dynamite deposition for Wednesday, Augusto the 18th, 2021. Damn good show, I must say. Top notch.
I need to start putting my DVR back on for that, so I can start getting my good wrestling fix on, if you will.
Yeah, dude. There's no doubt that I think they're better than WWE right now. That simple.
Yeah. As we move forward into our shows and live streams throughout here, Off the Rope Tuesdays, occasionally we'll bring some special guests on from our fan base. If you would like to be considered to come on the show and shoot the shit about wrestling, please email us at offtheropetuesdays@gmail.com, and we can see if we can set something up to have you on for part of the show.
That would be pretty sweet, man.
I know Single H has already requested to be our first special guest, although Gabe was our first special guest.
Yes,
Gabe,
that's true. Gabe. Yes. Young Gabeth. He wasn't waiting, man. He was like, you know what? I am number one. I'm coming on. So
I mean, technically, I was like the second guess,
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah,
on before
and-
I was really part of it. So.
It's true.
You
There you
went
go.
a special guest, and now it's a permanent thing. So now you're stuck with us.
Look what you got and done.
God damn it.
Too late to go back home now.
You're not getting rid of us that easy.
It is what it is.
Yeah, so feel free. Hit us up, dudes and dudettes, if you want to get downtown like Julie Brown over here. Hell, maybe you can even come hang out in my boiler room. I could use the company. So,
Can we get a live boiler room match?
oh, now we're onto something.
Can we
I don't-
relive the Can we relive the basement match that we did?
Yes, the West Main Street Massacre.
Yeah, in my little steel cage down in the basement.
Yeah. That was my first taste as a referee, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I'd like to see that rematch, actually. Sorry, what's
Oh.
that?
I'd like to see that rematch because I won. So
Showboating.
come on, guys.
Hey. See if he answers the
Oh.
challenge. Speaking of challenges, gotta mention it every week. Still waiting for you, Enzo. I'm here. I'm easy to find. Yeah, my mortal enemy with his stupid French fry hair.
One of them.
Yeah, there it is. That's what we're looking for. See, he can do all the meth he wants. Look at his eyes busting out his head. It won't matter.
But you know what? His hair is not as cool as this.
You know what? I would if I was forced to wear one or the other. I'm going onion head. I'm sorry, Enzo. Look at it. Look at that. It was like Kid from Kid and Play got electrocuted, and half of his hair got burned off and turned blonde or something. It's
No, he has
no.
the show The Rugrats. He has the Phil and Lil haircut.
Yeah. Yes. Phil Will, dude. Nice reference. Hell yeah. Points to Nighthawk with the goal.
Oh, and speaking of McMahon's birthday, happy birthday, Mr. McMahon.
Oh, look at that. The podcast kid got Vince a present. It's his balls in his mouth.
Not mine. Not mine.
Well, I mean, hey, remember Vince had his Kiss My Ass Club, so you could have the Suck My Balls Club. Good God. Good thing we have that warning at the beginning of the show, eh?
Yeah, that band guy came through. with
Yeah,
the PSA.
he's good at what he does. I like him. He's pretty handsome. Sound of satisfaction.
So before we, was there Rampage on Friday?
Well, yeah, but I mean, we already covered it. Hello.
Yeah.
It was CM Punk, the biggest story in wrestling in quite some time. And I think we covered that quite well. If anyone is actually a wrestling fan, you already knew about this well before we went on the air tonight. So, yeah, I actually loved it so much that I watched all of Rampage. I remember it being very good, but I don't remember anything else that happened.
Because it's only an hour long, so
I know, right?
it keeps your attention for the hour.
Madness, I tell you. No, and that is the cool thing about it. See, look at that. You got WWE like, oh, we should make Raw 4 hours. AEW is like, hey, why don't we cut a bunch of bullshit out of a 2-hour program, make it 1 hour, and make it actually work? Because they have for 2 weeks in a row now. So
This is true. Before we hit into SmackDown and SummerSlam,
I thought we were skipping SmackDown this week because of SummerSlam.
see, that's my Halfsimer's kicking in.
I was gonna say, hey, I got no SmackDown breakdown for you. We're just spitting it
The
all.
breakdown is there is no breakdown.
Right. Yes, man. It's gotta be curtains for you, SmackDown. Yeah. Rub me out, man.
So we'll do a quick little history review.
This day in wrestling history.
31 years, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the dream team of Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine defeat the U.S. Express, Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham to win the WWF Tag Team Championship.
Wow, Barry Windham. Remember when he was the Stalker?
No, I do not.
You don't remember Stalker from
No.
what was that, like mid-90s? That point when it was like when Mantar was around and Duke the Dumpster, Atom Bomb, when they just had that run of horrible gimmicks. Look them up, Diggs. Podcast
will.
kid.
Other days in history, we have 26 years ago, East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott, before his Big Papa Pump, defeated the Rock and Roll Express to win the NWA Tag Team Championship.
Puff's the stuff, dude. You know, it's funny. I was randomly watching some just random wrestling matches I found on YouTube that I was looking for ones in particular I've never seen. I actually saw a match of Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe that had Eddie Kingston and CM Punk commentating. That was interesting. But, oh, God, what was I just going to say? Half-Simers. Here we go. Who were you just talking about there?
I think it's more than half at this point.
Yeah, three-quarter
Simers.
Three-quarter Simers. Wait, who were you just talking about, man? I had a point to this. Who were you talking about there, Diggs?
I was talking about the Steiner brothers and the
Rock. Okay. Thank you. You just had to say Steiner. Now I kicked it back into gear. I watched a random match that was really good of the Steiners versus Too Cold Scorpio and Chris Benoit back in the old ECW days.
Wow.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I was like, you don't see a lot of Chris Benoit matches getting advertised much anymore, but it was worth watching.
22 years ago, WCW presented the Clash of the Champions from the Five Season Center in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This highlighted the first ever singles match between Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair on broadcast television. This edition of the Clash drew the highest ratings for any cable wrestling show ever at that point. The show as a whole was seen on over 2.75 million households. The main event being watched by 4.12 million households. At the time, a record for any wrestling match on cable television.
Wow, You know, it's funny you mentioned TBS because I was actually thinking, you know how we always seem to start like 3 to 5 minutes late on average?
Yeah,
we should go TBS style. Remember how TBS for the longest time they were always so different. All their programming started 5 minutes after the hour. Yeah. Or 35 minutes after the hour. Always found that peculiar.
Let's see. What else did we have? We had Raw is War in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Tag team champions Mankind and Kane fought each other to a no contest in a Hell in a Cell match.
Ah, yes, the third Hell in a Cell match, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Yeah, and that was the one that everyone tuned into because they were like, holy shit, Foley's getting back in the Hell in a Cell. This time, maybe he'll actually die. You know, I knew that, though. I mean, it was a decent enough match, but going into it, I was like, I even remember watching it live. I was like, yeah, cool and all, but you can't top what they just did with Undertaker and Mankind in the Hell in a Cell. So why are you doing this right now? They should have had, I mean, it was cool to see them go up against each other. It was an odd pairing, but you should have had Kane fight somebody else. But
and then 17 years ago, it was the first episode ever taped for SmackDown.
Ah, yes, that was The Rock versus Triple H in the main event with Shawn Michaels as special guest referee, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
And, of course, the Sexy Boy did a little more than refereeing when he gave some sweet chin music to The Rock to help Triple H secure the win. That was the closest we ever got to what is undoubtedly a dream match of the Sexy Boy versus the Brahma Bull.
That would be a good match to see in their prime.
I would have liked to see that match. Yeah, no doubt about it. As much as I wasn't a fan of The Rock, but I would have liked to see Michaels versus The Rock. From what I understand, there was some little tension between the two in the locker room, and that's kind of why it never happened. So,
I'm sure. It's Michaels. He has tension with everybody.
Well, that was still back when Michaels was still Michaels, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
And the last little tidbit news here on the Professor Diggs Professor Vision. 1 year ago on Raw, the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, returned to WWE as a tag team for the first time since 2005.
Yeah, dude. I remember watching that live as well. And I remember that day very specifically because I spent all day going over town just to find a fan. Nobody had no fans for sale. It's not a good day. Then I came home and the Dudleys came back, and all of a sudden, it was a good day.
And that
they came back in. Sorry, real quick before you give your outro. That was also when they came back and gave Xavier Woods the 3D through the table. And then this is when I really started to fall in love with Xavier Woods. He made that whole thing the next week. He stated about how a piece of the wood went into his urethra. He had to be rushed to the ER and everything. So yeah, that was a fine moment in Biggie or in New Day history. And a fine job of history by you, Senior Pod Kid.
You know it. Again, folks, if you want to be a guest on the show, please email us for your future show. As we are on a show, we will not be adding guests as we move along during a show. But for future shows, feel free to email us offtheropestuesday@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, share this out to your kids, to your parents, to your grandparents. They want to watch us. You know they do.
Mm-hmm. Grandmas love us.
And pets.
Yeah.
We're a big hit at bingo night.
We're the reason bingo happens.
Or Oingo bingo. Beyond bingo.
So I believe we shall get into some SummerSlam.
So was it a SummerSlam or a Summer Sham? That remains to be seen, folks. Mm-hmm. Find out next on Off the Rope Tuesdays.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And we're back.
Good commercial break.
Great commercial break.
So I missed the kickoff match because they don't replay the kickoff match.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't watch it live.
I know
because
you
Peacock was a robot like you were last week in your basement.
Yep. Peacock, once again, before I even mentioned the kickoff show, we got to bring this up. This is now the third, fourth consecutive pay-per-view on Peacock that we were not able to watch live. And I would love it if anyone out there, you want to chime in, please let us know if you've had this problem too, because at first I thought it was just my cable. Then I talked to you and you were like, I got the same thing going on. I tried watching it again live this past Saturday night. It was just barely into the Sheamus Damian Priest match for the US belt. And I finally had enough because the video was fine. The audio, they just kept cutting out, coming back in, cutting out, coming back in. I was like, this fucking sucks. So annoying. So I gave up and watched Svengoolie. I was like, I should have known all along. But I did see the kickoff show that featured Biggie Langston as he defeated Baron Corbin and reclaimed his Money in the Bank briefcase. It was a decent match. Yeah, no, I did. That was when it was still working. That was before the audio completely fucked. No.
Big E lost his Money in the Bank?
No. Oh, well, no. Remember, it was the previous week on SmackDown. Baron Corbin just ran and stole the briefcase. He didn't lose it in a match. He just stole it because he's on that whole angle, which I am really a fan of him being broken, pathetic. But it was a decent match. Nothing really to write home about. But like I said, I do enjoy Corbin's current angle. They made it even better during the match. He came complete with a mustard stained shirt. He was sporting the match. So hopefully they keep that angle going with him because it's something so much better than that King crap they did with him for far too long.
So is this going to be like another thing with the Burger King crown where they just keep stealing it from each other?
I don't know, man.
I hope not.
I didn't even
cashed it in quick.
Well, that's like speaking of the King thing, I didn't understand this at all. Now, you remember last week I had mentioned during SmackDown that Nakamura beat Apollo Crews to become the new Intercontinental Champion. He came out on SummerSlam with that goon who plays guitar for him and screams, and they just danced, and then that was it. I was like, wait a minute. When Nakamura was coming out, I was like, all right, he's going to have a match for the Intercontinental belt now. No, he just came out and they danced, and that was it. It's like, oh, God, why? Just stop doing stupid shit like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there was no Intercontinental Championship match at SummerSlam because it was more important that Nakamura and random guitar dude, whatever his name is, dance. Yeah, so that was lame.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't get it. And it sucks, dude, because now they've done away with Elias, who was the guy who should be in WWE playing guitar because he's fucking hilarious, but whatever.
Make a killer Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I would love to see Elias as IC champ. I've always been a fan of him. He's great on the mic. He knows how to work a crowd and then some. He's a great heel. And from what I understand now, they've done away with his gimmick. So that's that. Next up, though, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship match.
I was actually quite entertained by that match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. New champions.
I know. I do like Randy Orton and Riddle McGriddle there. RK Bro.
I call him Mr. No Shoes because he doesn't wear shoes.
He wears flip-flops and kicks them off.
Yeah. I still find it weird that guys are willing to wrestle without shoes or any sort of protective foot gear, if you will. It just seems like a very easy way to break your toes as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, King Haku did it for a while.
That's actually what happened to Rusev when he was still in WWE before he became Miro. That's why, if you notice, for the longest time, he never wore shoes. Then one day he started wearing some boots because he busted some toes.
Yes.
But yeah, new
Overall,
champions
match,
were crowned.
Yeah, as I said, overall, this match was fairly entertaining. It was a great curtain jerker for what it was.
Yes. RK Bro, as you mentioned, they came back, and it made sense to me that they go over against AJ Styles and Edward James Omos. I can never Omosos. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but for RK Bro to take the belts, I thought that made sense since this partnership of Orton and Riddle is really hot with the fans right now. And I think AJ Styles and Omos had pretty much ran their course as the champs. So hopefully this also means that AJ Styles is going back to singles competition where he belongs, because he's another one of those guys that, in my opinion, is highly underutilized by WWE.
You trying to get a word in there, Nighthawk?
This isn't important, but every time you say Omos, my brain just goes Osmosis Jones.
Or perhaps my favorite Ozzy album, Osmosis. Yeah. The guy is fun to watch just because he's so big, and he could work decent enough for a big dude. But it's time to put the kibosh on that whole thing. But yeah, good match though. Yeah, I give it a B.
AJ break away from Omos and go back to a title run. I think he'd make.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
This should hopefully be the end of that partnership. Send AJ Styles back to the singles competition, and hopefully everything will be right his way.
Yes. On another note with RK Bro was Randy Orton. He tied Undertaker's record for the most consecutive matches at SummerSlam with 17.
Wowee. I was not aware of that. Wow, I think someone just ran behind you, Diggs.
Yeah, that was Mini Girth. Not Mini Girth. That was Metal Girth.
I was just making sure you knew who it was, because I thought maybe you had some possession stuff going on over there or something. You never know.
But Randy Orton, that was his 17th SummerSlam match, and he has tied the Undertaker's record. So that's some good, interesting news there.
And he has a fancy new mustache, if you've noticed.
Yes, he is rocking the stash.
He's very Captain Morgan of him.
But yeah, as a curtain jerker, I thought that match was great. Then we move on to Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. And this is where SummerSlam, if they just went from the tag titles right to the main events, that would have been great. Instead of making SummerSlam 4 hours.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was still some decent stuff here and there before that, but yeah, I can see what you mean. Excuse me, because this match was just a hot pile of dog vomit. Oh,
I mean, I don't even have words to describe. I mean, you described it best: dog vomit. Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, Doudrop is possessed by Lily.
I have one question. Why was this even on pay-per-view? Why?
This should have been the opening match where no one's going to see it on the replay.
I definitely like Big E versus Baron Corbin way better. This match just should never have existed in any way, shape, or form, really, as I'm concerned. It was a complete waste of Alexa Bliss's talent, and it was so bad that, I mean, I was laughing out loud at its overall shittiness as I was watching it live, because this was still before Peacock completely, shit the bed. But numerous occasions, I was laughing out loud at how bad this was. And then Dewdrop definitely didn't do anything to improve the situation.
No.
On a report card scale, this definitely got an F-. That's how bad it was. Like, I am going to call your parents because that's how bad this is. It just sucks for Alexa, too, because she's so over. I hate the dumb doll thing. It's just, stop with that. But the rest of her gimmick is cool.
Well, yeah, I like the dark side of Alexa Bliss. I don't like the voodoo side of it. Like we said before, they're trying to bring back old gimmicks that worked before, but they're just not working now. So just stop with the damn doll, burn it, do something with it, call it a fucking day.
Well, there was the part when Eva Marie slapped the doll. I was like, what? Really? It was just so. And then, oh boy, that whole thing at the end after Alexa had already left with Dewdrop, I guess, turning on Eva Marie.
Yep.
Oh, it was like, please just shoot them now and put them out of their misery. Why did that go on for as long as it did? I will never know. I've seen shits better than that match.
This is true. Then we come into the United States Championship. Sheamus, the champion, defending against Damian Priest. I caught the match here and there. I was in and out with this one. Overall, I thought it was, from what I saw, was a good match.
Yeah, definitely. No, there's no doubt about it. This was a real hard-hitting, solid back-and-forth kind of a contest. And yes, Damian Priest walks away as the new United States champion. I watched this match all the way through. This was the match. I really wanted to see this after trying to watch the SummerSlam live, because this was the match where the audio was so bad. I finally said, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. So I was really intrigued to see how it turned out. And upon second glance, if you will, it was a damn good match. There was a point when Sheamus just straight up headbutts Priest so fucking hard. I was like, dude, I have a lot more respect for Damian Priest after this match, because talk about an upcoming guy that he paid his dues, and a lot of young guys have to when they go up against a guy like Sheamus. He doesn't hold back. He's going to break you in his way. And I thought this was a really, really good one. And it was cool to see the title change. This was already then the second title change of the show after the Raw Tag Team titles had gone away. But yeah, aside from the headbutt, there was also a part where Priest went to do like a slingshot thing off the second rope, and as he was in midair, Sheamus just caught him with the brogue kick straight to the mush and just brought him down really hard. So yeah, I dug that one. I thought they did a good job in that match. And they totally saved that show at that point, because you could tell after the shit show of Alexa Bliss and Eva Marie, the crowd was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" Really, dude? So they put the show back on track.
I wouldn't even mind seeing Sheamus getting another push towards the Raw Heavyweight Championship to maybe battle out Lashley. I could see that being quite a good feud.
I've always been a Sheamus fan, dude. He's one of those. He reminds me of the old school guys that they're stiff to a point, not where they're hurting guys, or especially purposely or intentionally, but they let you know when they're hitting you. Yep. I like that about Sheamus. And I mean, me being as vampire hue as I am, as I proved when I went to the beach last week, I dig his ghost-like appearance. And I thought it was funny that he had to wear the protective mask, which he did legit get his nose broken in their last match there a week or so ago.
Yeah. And speaking of vampire-like complexions.
What a hue.
I've been attacked.
Yes, you should feel attacked.
Well, it's a good way to be, I think. I try to avoid the sun at all costs.
Whatever. At least I'm not going to look like a leather bag when I'm 40.
This is true.
Right? That is definitely a positive, my dear.
Then we roll into the Usos SmackDown Championship versus the Mysterios.
Yeah, another good match, I thought. It was a quality match. We've seen them go up against each other now for the last couple of months. So,
It can be over now.
yeah, exactly. The Usos retained for anyone out there who didn't see it. Definitely, quality matchup. It was entertaining, no doubt. It certainly, my favorite thing about it, it adds to the eventual, what will happen, the eventual split of Ray and Dominic, which will then lead to a father-son match. So I'm all on board for that. I think that's a good way to go. But yeah, this is hopefully the end of Usos and Mysterios, because they've really given us everything they got to give us at this point in that whole feud.
And I like the Usos. I like the way the Usos work. I like that, again, still with that storyline with the bloodline.
Yeah. That's still the best storyline in WWE right now. No doubt.
But the Usos retaining their titles as they defeat the Mysterios via pinfall. I give it a B grade on that one. Quality.
That's exactly how I report carded that one as well.
Right down the middle, Daddy. Right down the middle.
Fonzie style. Hell yeah, dude.
You know it.
Then we followed that bad boy up with the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'll let you say what you want to say about this, honestly, because I really have something to say about this whole.
I understand you want to build up Becky Lynch's comeback. I understand you want her to come back and have a big pop and a big drastic effect on WWE in the women's division. But you hype up Sasha Banks. She comes back. We were all expecting this match to be close to a headlining match like it was at WrestleMania. And for whatever reason, Sasha's not on the card anymore, and Becky Lynch comes out and beats Bianca Belair in 37 or 27 seconds or whatever the hell it was. Like, again, it's the WWE writers thinking, because Becky Lynch has held the title before and she's got a great following, just doesn't sit right with having her come back after a year, first match to win the belt.
All right.
Kind of a lot of disappointment there.
So you want my take on this shit, man? Because I tell you, I thought it was so lame on the part of the WWE to make it seem like this was going to be Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. I mean, literally up to the last second. I knew as soon as Bianca came out walking first out to the ring, she's the champ. I hate when they do that. So I'm like, okay, something's not right here. And if you'll remember, I messaged you guys the other day when I saw this thing that there was a report that Sasha was going to be out of the match. WWE had even made a statement about this, saying that due to unforeseen circumstances, Sasha will not be appearing at SummerSlam. So why the fuck did they lead all us fans up with the giant promo they did, which was actually really good before the match, before Bianca came out, about Sasha and Bianca's feud? Okay, so there's that, right? Now, you also have what would have been a rematch of WrestleMania, which was arguably the match of the year. It's definitely a contender.
Oh, 100%.
That match was phenomenal. They stole the show at WrestleMania. So now we've been told for weeks that it's going to be Bianca and Sasha. This is the rematch all those fans been clamoring for. It was a great heel turn by Sasha. I love the build-up. Everything was gravy. So now if Sasha, for whatever unforeseen circumstances, as they call it, that happens. That's life. Okay, card subject to change, as they always say. Why did you still then go all the way to the last second, making us believe that Sasha, maybe things worked out, she was better or wasn't hurt after all, and this match was really going to happen? Nope. Then Carmella comes out, and it's like, are you serious right now? Like, I just found that to be extremely insulting. It was a slap in the face to not only the fans, but to Bianca Belair as well. Sorry, she deserved better than that. She's been a great champion since she got the belt at Mania. She's had an awesome run. She is totally over with the fans. And no offense to Becky Lynch, but the fact that she squashed Bianca in 2 seconds was terrible booking decision when they could have at least At least let Belair drop the belt with a little dignity and at least have her have a real match with Becky. But no, it was just that grade F, dude. And once again, no offense to Becky. I love Becky Lynch. I'm glad she's back. Everyone knows she was gone because she had a baby, yada, yada. But they fucked this up bad, dude.
100%. Like you said, I love Becky Lynch. I think she's a great worker. She's a great entertainer. But this
I'm not putting the blame on her.
No, not 100%. Not at all. But this
she's
is
just following orders.
This one shouldn't have gone down this way. They should have had either the match not on the card at all, or maybe had Bianca come down, spit something on the microphone, and then have Becky Lynch come and interrupt her and start a feud that way.
That would have made more sense.
Let's not just drop the belt in 27 seconds to someone who's been out of the scene for over a year.
I don't even think, was it 27 seconds? I think it was more like 7 seconds.
I think I think since the time she hit the ring to the pinfall or whatever it was 27 seconds.
Yeah. The official time, but
have Bianca Belair spit a promo, have Becky Lynch interrupt her like they all do now, and start a feud that way. Start it, or have her jump her, or do something. But don't. Bianca did not deserve to lay the belt down Sunday night. Or
no,
Saturday
absolutely
night.
not. And worst of all, why did you keep telling us that the Sasha Bianca rematch was going to happen when you knew all along it wasn't going to?
Money. Promo.
But even at that, right? But still, it's like, okay, now if you have Xfinity, you're fucking Comcast, you got Peacock. You don't even have to pay anything extra for it. So why are you going to lie to the fans when they're not? I mean, can you imagine if they did that and they didn't? It was still the old pay-per-view days. Like how people would have been so ripshit, and rightfully so. You paid all that money for a match that a lot of people, that there's no doubt that was the match they were looking forward to most on the card, myself included. I wanted that match more than any other match that was on here.
I think all three of us wanted that match.
Yeah, because the first one at Mania was fantastic.
It was the headliner.
They owned it.
Night one.
They even won the ESPY award for like best WWE moment, even though I can't stand ESPN. But I mean, hell, even they gave them recognition as to how good they were. So that was the thing that pissed me off the most, because it was literally a slap in the face to the fans, a slap in the face to Bianca. She deserved better than that, and the fans deserve better than that. Don't sell us on something that you know is not going to happen. That's
bad writing right there.
Yeah, that's bad taste, bad everything. Just horrible decision. And I think it made Becky Lynch look inadvertently bad, which she doesn't deserve either. So,
well, yeah, because she had to agree to it as well.
Well, she doesn't have a choice. She's following orders, But you could have, what you said, you're absolutely right. They should have just, okay, Sasha can't appear, whatever. Then she could just, here's a fill-in. She fights Carmella, and then all of a sudden, here comes Becky. Hey, I'm back. I want to challenge you for the belt. And then they could have done something great between those two, but
No, and now whatever happens between those two is going to be pretty much null and void. It's not going to have that big pop that they want.
No, yeah, they really botched that, because a feud between Becky and Bianca could have been great, unless I don't know, they'll do something stupid. Well, now they'll turn Bianca heel because of this or some crap. But either way, yeah, you had your chance and you blew it on what could have been a great feud. So, yep, blood pressure's boiling.
If this was a test in high school, I'd give it a 2.
Oh, dude, I'd say -2. I was so.
I give it a 2 because they at least walked down to the ring without falling over.
What should have been a great moment, especially with Becky Lynch returning after being gone for this time, turned out to be the worst moment in SummerSlam this year, in my opinion. 100%. And we haven't even gotten to Goldberg yet.
No, but we're going to the Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal.
Oh, and then Speaking of diarrhea, cha-cha-cha.
Speaking of the bathroom show.
Ooh, yeah, we ate too many burritos at this pay-per-view. Let me tell you. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal.
Why don't we eat tacos on the show? It is Taco Tuesday as well.
Should we introduce the taco portion of the show?
I think we should be eating tacos on the show.
We've talked about this before. We just haven't done it yet.
I think we need to seriously get that into the show now, because now I want tacos.
Yeah, because that's what Every audio listener wants to hear Choco Crunch chewing during the show.
Why would they be crunchy? You get soft tacos.
Oh, well, don't you have a solution for everything?
But the viewers would love it just to see us in taco sauce.
How about I just slap on a feed bag and really give them a show? Show them how I eat at home, anyways. No utensils needed.
Sorry,
Hey,
brainchild.
if we need tacos, we'll get tacos. Tacos equal ratings.
All right. Speaking of non-ratings, we have Drew McIntyre versus
I think
Jinder.
there's a separate part of the internet for that, but we don't need to talk about that.
Oh.
We can't go there here. Come on, guys.
Dun, dun, dun.
Look, we had a warning in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fine.
All bets are off. No limits. It's like Thunderdome.
Bitch.
Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal.
That's all I gotta say.
Oh.
McIntyre won. Great. Is this feud over? Are they done?
This was the next match on the card that did not need to be on the card. Thank you very much. Much like poor Alexa, McIntyre deserved better, especially since it wasn't all that long ago. If you will recall, Drew McIntyre was the WWE champion, and now he is doing this. I also don't understand why they can cut guys like Braun Strowman and bring back guys like Jinder Mahal.
And Brock Lesnar.
One of the worst WWE champions of all time, Jinder Mahal. Let's bring him back. But Braun, meh, we can do without him.
Obviously.
D. Next.
Match is over. Done. Conversation.
D.
Don't even need it.
You are going to summer school. You got a D.
Then we bring you to the other bathroom break. Because we've seen these three on Raw for the past 7 months.
Mm-hmm,
We had Nikki ASH, the women's champion, versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I am so tired of these three.
And aren't you really excited about the fact that Charlotte is now champion for the 12th time?
Dude,
So
I
excited.
blew the roof off my house with excitement when I saw that.
Oh, I'm sure.
So excited that he almost flipped a table.
Right?
Oh, no, I flipped the table.
I'm surprised the cops didn't get called. You know, you were like setting tables off and like finding people to power bomb through them, going Dudley style.
This what kind of brings me to my point of earlier with too many belts. So there's good competition in the women's division and every other division between the IC belt, world belt, United States, whatever Raw and SmackDown belts there are. You could have so much more competition fighting for this belt if you just had one women's belt. Because you get these.
Yeah, no, I see your point.
I mean, you got Nikki Ash, whatever the hell you want to call her, Charlotte Flair, Ripley. Again, they've been feuding since WrestleMania when Ripley won the belt, and it's always just been these three. Why not just have one belt, and then you have someone for a good feud with Bianca or Charlotte, or you have more opportunities and more options to have greater feuds to get you more viewers and more ratings.
Yeah, it's for me. My takeaway on this one was, the match itself. I'll give him credit. I thought it was entertaining, but this just proves why the booking for Raw sucks. It's basically like it's always Flair versus the rest of the division. I want to know where Asuka is. But she's just, Asuka's gone. Yeah. No explanation. And now that she's champion again without any new competition, you can expect the women's division on Raw to really start to flatline from here. They're not going to give Charlotte. They don't have anyone. I'd be shocked if they have anyone really in mind that can actually keep up with Charlotte in the ring. Because no matter what you say about Charlotte, she is really good in the ring as far as the wrestler goes and whatnot. But you now you put the belt on her again. Okay, where do you go from here? Because I don't see anything on that Raw roster that is going to catch my attention going up against her.
You could have had her feud with Becky Lynch. You could have had her feud with Bianca. You could have had Sasha come back and feud with her instead of Bianca if the whole point was to get Becky Lynch with, there's a shitload of different angles you could have done with Charlotte Flair in another feud and Bianca.
Well, this is going back to your point why it should just be one women's championship and one men's championship and one tag team championship. It sickens me. Good God. But
you know, we saw Charlotte Flair win that, like you said, for the 12th time. She won it via the figure 8 by making Nikki Ash tap out.
Yeah, and what was I feel honestly bad for Nikki. Like, you let her win Money in the Bank. She cashes in right away. And then it was kind of like, I felt the same way for Bianca. They both got screwed, in my opinion. At least Nikki got to have an actual match, unlike Bianca. But I didn't like the fact that both of these title changes happened. So, I mean, although no offense to Nikki, I gotta admit, I don't really know why they ever put the belt on her in the first place. She's a good wrestler, but I don't think she's really championship caliber. I guess she was over for a little bit, but in WWE's eyes, not enough because they already took the belt off her. So there you go.
Right. But we did see, in my eyes, the SummerSlam stocks rise a little bit here with Edge versus Seth Rollins. What's your take on Edge's intro, going back to the old school roots?
That was pretty cool, actually. I was curious for a second. My girl and I were watching it earlier. As a matter of fact, and she was very excited because she's a big fan of the Brood. I was like, dude, are they actually going to bring back Gangrel just for his entrance? Because that would have been badass. But I thought it looked cool the way they played the old entrance theme and the red and the smoke and the way he came up through the floor just added to the whole dynamic of this match, which everyone knew right along. This was going to be one of the best matches of the night, and they did not disappoint. I mean, it's Edge and Seth Rollins. Hello, we know going into it, this is one we want to see. So
this one actually co-headlined with Cena and Reigns.
Yeah, no doubt.
You could have bumped Goldberg and Lashley below one spot down and given the co-headline spot to Edge and Rollins.
Yep. And I mean, once again, it was no big surprise. This is Rollins and Edge. This is a match that everyone has been waiting for a long time, going back to the old Shield days when Edge, it looked like he was never going to be able to compete again. And they really did not disappoint. They were awesome. So that helped. Once again, another one of those matches they needed to get things back on track. But, I mean, if you go over what we've even discussed so far, there's still a lot of fat you could have trimmed from the show. And if they had done so, it would have been overall a lot better. There was definitely some great moments, but some stinkers.
There were too many moments.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have those moments on a pay-per-view of this. Yeah. With SummerSlam being their second biggest pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You can't have meh moments.
One of the big four shows. You should know all the big four shows should be awesome, but this is not 1998 anymore. So
for those of you who don't know the big four shows we're referring to, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Rumble.
And the Royal Rumble.
Because when we were growing up, those were the only four pay-per-views for a while.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, here comes In Your House. We in your house tonight.
Michael Cole.
Oh, that was pre-Michael Cole, actually. Cole wasn't even there. That was back when they still had Todd Pettengill. Todd Pettengill.
Skunk hair.
There's somebody who should have gotten a stunner. Speaking of stunners, here's another thing I hate about SummerSlam. Where the fuck is Kevin Owens? No Kevin Owens. No.
Where's Cesaro?
SummerSlam. Yeah, that was another great call. Hey, there you go. Problem solved. You know what I would have loved to see on this pay-per-view? Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. Yeah. Problem solved.
In a steel cage.
Anything. I don't care. Let them have a backstage brawl even. Something. Show them some proper recognition. Especially considering the fact there's two guys right there that really helped keep the company going along during the whole pandemic scene where they couldn't even have a crowd in front of them. So that was lame.
But yeah, Edge and Rollins definitely could have been a co-headliner. Great match. Great everything in this match. I give this match an A. 100% all the way.
Yeah. Kicked ass. just as much as I expected it to. And you know what didn't kick ass? The WWE Championship match.
It kicked shit down the road.
No,
Bobby
it ate
Lashley,
shit.
Champion versus Goldberg. Your favorite.
It's just, another match that had no business being on this card. And yet another WWE superstar who has no business being back in the ring. I honestly want to know, how much did Vince pay Goldberg just to waste our fucking time? I'd love to know.
Did Goldberg get to have Gage or whatever his name get fucking hurt locked Bobby Lashley?
Oh, yeah, his kid. That was the only good part about the whole thing. This, to me, just, I'm sorry, I've never, my stance on Goldberg, but Goldberg did not do himself any favors by doing this. He's just making himself, his whatever legacy you want to say he has or had, whatever, he's just making it look like shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
100%.
Dude, I mean, even Hogan knew when to call it quits. You are well past your prime, dude. Well past your time.
And if he really wanted to leave a legacy, he would have retired undefeated in WCW, and that would have been his legacy as one of the only wrestlers to go undefeated. But here we are.
Well,
he's still
then came the whole cattle prod in WCW, lest we forget. That was the end of the undefeated streak. But yeah, no, this is oh boy. Yeah.
I mean, Lashley took the victory via stoppage to retain a title because he just started, with the chair shots and all of that. WWE getting a little extreme here with the chair shots.
Yeah, that was one of the only good things, I guess. But overall, this is just, once again, a case of bad booking. Nobody wants to see Goldberg, Vince. And it also just goes to show that they don't have a clue as to who can do a proper run with Lashley for the belt at one of the biggest events of the year, which is pretty pathetic, I gotta say. So this was another F on the report card for me.
Kevin Owens.
Thank you. Cesaro. Sami Zayn.
Kofi Kingston has been MIA for a while.
Or, hey, how about, I don't know, just have Bobby just destroy Goldberg in 2 seconds and then have Big E come out and cash in his Money in the Bank or something. I don't know, man. Just
make it interesting.
Just don't have Goldberg at all. There you go. Please. No more Goldberg. Oh.
I give it an F as well. And that's going to bring us to the main event of the evening. The champion, Roman Reigns, the future ex-husband of Miss Nighthawk, taking on John Cena. Had to wake you up somehow.
I was reading something. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Someone else's podcast, perhaps?
No, information for later. Thank you.
I'm just screwing with you.
She's watching Vince's podcast.
Oh, I know. Yeah, see, someone's got to keep an eye on this before. That way we'll actually know when we get the plug pulled. Oh, yes. Hey, I thought this was a great main event. And it saved the show. Again, they had to have, that's another problem I had with his whole SummerSlam in general, because they had way too many moments where they needed a match to save the show because of what they had just done beforehand. This is another prime example of that after the debacle that was Lashley and Goldberg. The match made Reigns look really good. I like the way they played this out. It made him look like a dominant champion and a fighting champion at that, which is a hard thing to do sometimes for a heel. And hell, he took everything. He withstood everything Cena could throw at him, and he kept going. That's what I like to see. And it's always cool to see Cena come back and prove that he's still a main event draw, no matter how long he's gone from the ring.
Well, because he's gone again now, making Fast 25. So
yeah, that's one thing I really wish Cena would stop doing. What?
Right?
The fuck was that?
Did somebody die?
Or someone's joining me. Maybe we have a new special guest down here in the dungeon. I don't know what that was, but I heard a big old bang. So, anywho. All right, so it's not just me, Raj. Well, finally they've come for me.
It was nice knowing you.
Yeah, set sails.
You're not going anywhere. I haven't
Enjoy the show without me.
Look, you
But,
have witnesses at least.
Hey, I got you too. But yeah, this was. I actually thought that throwing the whole Lesnar surprise return at the end worked as well, because at least for one champion now. Yeah, I know he's onion head. I know how you feel about Brock, but he's someone that now that Reigns has been so dominant over the whole SmackDown roster for like over a year now. I could believe him going up against Lesnar, just like I could believe him going up against Cena. Now he actually has a legit opponent. So SmackDown's still beating Raw.
Hear me out on this one.
Okay.
I got two different scenarios. One, I put this in, I think either the chat or I told you, Mr. Torrance. Heyman turns on Reigns, goes back with Lesnar. Lesnar takes the belt.
That's definitely a possibility.
Or Heyman is going to build like the Heenan family and get Brock to come in with Roman and the Usos and build his own little empire. And then Brock turns and beats Reigns.
That could happen, I guess. You know what I'm seeing, though, right now? I mean, because they'd be idiots to change Reigns'
this is WWE. This is Vince
his
McMahon.
Run as a heel right now. Don't mess with Reigns as a heel. He's definitely way better as a heel than he was a face. He's way more over. He just portrays it better, I think, too. So that only means if they're going to do this whole Lesnar and Reigns feud right now, then that means it's Lesnar going to be a face for the first time in his whole friggin' career? And how the hell is that going to work?
And he broke character a little bit, too, when he's walking out of the ring. He started slapping hands with the fans.
Although, then you also have what I mentioned earlier. What's that?
I said, oh, shit.
Well, for Brock, that's kind of a big thing. Brock
that is. You're right. That is totally out of character for him. But then now you throw the curveball in that he went and fucked up Cena after the match. So if he's really face, why did he do that? I don't get it. But
well, that's what kind of led me to think about him joining Heyman and Reigns, because he destroyed Cena and didn't destroy Reigns when he came down.
But Brock has to be champion, though. He can't be like, oh, it's cool that Roman is champion. You know he can't do that.
Or WWE will mess it up and they'll put fucking Brock over with Lashley.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, that's how they could have potentially saved there was nothing to save from the Lashley and Goldberg match, but I think it would have worked too if you had brought Brock out at the end of that one. I'd rather see Brock go up against Reigns because I don't want to see just a squash match. I want to see them actually have a match again, because you got to admit, WrestleMania, oh Christ, I'm so bad with the numbers, but when Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank during the main event of Lesnar and Reigns, leading up to that point, they had everyone remembers this is the part where Seth Rollins cashed in. Leading up to that point, the match was actually really awesome because they beat the shit out of each other in that match. So there's something to be said there for this.
Yes. That is SummerSlam.
Summer Sham.
Yeah. I'm going to hit on a quick couple of points from Raw because we got our other topic to get to, which is a lot more fun than talking about Raw.
I'm sure it already is.
Let's start off with Lashley coming out and not apologizing for hurting Gage.
Gage Goldberg. I want to hurt Gage. I don't even know him.
And now, since Damian Priest has won the United States title, he is now in contention for the Raw champion because he confronted Lashley about that. So now it's going to be a feud: U.S. champion versus Raw heavyweight champion. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you could make two different storylines and have someone go against the U.S. champion and someone against the champion, but whatever. I guess that's why I'm not making the big bucks, eh?
I mean, there really wasn't much to talk about with Raw. Caden Cross defeated Ricochet via submission. Xavier Woods defeated The Miz via a pinfall. The Miz is now out of his wheelchair, as we saw last week. He's now up and moving around.
Yeah, and sorry to interrupt, but speaking of The Miz, did you see that crap they did during SummerSlam? With Miz and Morrison and the squirt guns and
another reason why SummerSlam was a sham.
Had some highlights, but I actually think Dynamite was better. I'm not gonna lie.
Flair was cutting a promo and she was interrupted by Alexa Bliss, claiming this is now a new women's evolution. Bliss interrupted, holding her doll Lily. And that's going to be Flair's next challenger and feud will be Alexa Bliss. Hopefully,
all right, that has some potential. Then I would like to see Alexa and Charlotte.
Fucking doll, then yes.
Yeah. Hopefully, Charlotte will just I don't know, set the doll on fire and then all that crap. Yeah, but Charlotte versus Alexa, there's got potential.
Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley defeated Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I guess they're a tag team now. Isn't there a women's tag team championship too?
Yeah, last I checked.
I thought so too. Didn't know what happened to it. And
we certainly didn't get it at SummerSlam.
And Riddle defeated AJ Styles. That's Raw.
Really? AJ Styles lost to Riddle? Gross.
What can I say?
Yeah. You said it all, buddy.
I did.
You said it all.
I said a freaking mouthful.
Oh, Raw. And to think, like I said earlier, this, as I found out today, was the highest rated Monday Night Raw since January.
Oh, God.
Oh. Sickening, I tell you. It's sickening.
And now we're going to get into the greatest women of the wrestling world.
Yep.
Miss Nighthawk is so enthusiastic about this one. She just threw her head back like, yes, it's time. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
She's been reading. She's been taking notes.
She's got to go out and start fires after the show. That's how excited she is.
Riot.
Fires and riots.
I didn't already.
Ooh, pre-gaming. I like it.
Flipping
Devil's
cars.
Night.
She drinks her yellow wine.
Fire it up.
It's Gatorade.
Fair
The thirst quencher for that deep down body
If that's
thirst.
what the kids are calling it these days, then sure, it's Gatorade.
Diggs, do you happen to remember Gatorade gum? Remember
Yes, I do.
It wasn't very good.
It doesn't
It
sound good.
lasted
It wasn't.
maybe as long as
Fruit Stripe?
Yes, Fruit Stripe. Thank you.
Fruit Stripe.
You know where I was going with that.
Yes. Oh, the 90s and 80s.
Good times.
Great times. So, yeah, speaking of great times, the greatest women wrestlers of all the times. Here we are.
Let's let one of the awesomest women kick it off.
Oh, that's me. Okay.
Sure ain't me.
Last I checked, that would be you. Unless there's something else I don't know about here.
Listen, a long time since we've hung in.
We have so much to share and recipes.
Anyway,
So much to teach us.
first on my list, I have China.
She made my list as well.
I think we lost Diggs.
Hi.
Oh, look at him. He's all Domo Arigato now.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, my internet decided it didn't want to work.
Yeah.
Welcome
that's what
back.
it usually does.
But I heard you. You said you had China,
Yeah.
Yep.
the eighth wonder of the world.
China has to make that list. The first woman to ever to appear in the men's Royal Rumble.
This is true.
First
In the
woman,
what?
the men's Royal Rumble.
Oh,
She-
yeah. I have that written down.
Oh, Raj. Lay it on me. What other China facts do you have?
X-Pac.
Yeah, we don't need to go there. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. We already did that in the porn show, remember?
I know.
Nobody needs to relive that.
She was a founding member of, do you call it DXD Generation X, whatever the
Yes. You are correct. She was one of the originals with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, as he was known then, and the Sexy Boy.
Those are your China facts.
There is another I was going to mention. She was also the first, and if I'm not mistaken, still the only woman to ever hold the Intercontinental title.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, China was unlike anything.
Who did
that great?
Who did she win against?
Double J Jeff Jarrett, and that was quite controversial as well. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a behind the scenes thing that night at whatever pay per view it was back then. It was a big thing because Double J did not want to drop the belt to China, and I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he did the job, and then he was like, "All right, I'm out of here," and that was out. Mm-hmm. And now he works for them. So no.
Well played. Well played with the China.
Mm-hmm. Plus, and I also got to give China credit because she is without a doubt the toughest character in WWF No Mercy for Nintendo 64. I've only beaten her once. She's the European champion, and all she does is give you low blows. She just keeps hitting you in the balls. So I beat her once, and who do you think I beat her with?
Triple H.
Nope, he's not even in the game. I had to create him myself. Kevin Owens.
He's not in the game either.
Kevin Owens is not in the game. I created him. And then I did the whole championship run, if you remember your Nintendo 64 No Mercy. And he was the only character I've ever had in that game that I could actually beat China with. Because otherwise she was impossible. And I just barely squeezed it out. Diggity dog. Socko. The Rock says, diggity dog.
All right. Back to our current topic at hand.
So who you got there, Podcast Kid, on your list?
This is no particular order. This is just me.
Yeah.
I'm going Lita.
Oh, yeah. She's on everyone's list. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She
was a badass.
She could move. She could bump. She could do it all.
Oh, her feud with Trish Stratus. I mean, that was really the first match in WWE history where it was like, wow, okay, they're actually going to let women do what we know they can do and wrestle just as good a match as the men. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the first time that two women had the main event on Raw? Was Trish and Lita?
Mm-hmm. You are correct, sir.
I love Lita too because she also was in ECW back in the day, but she was the first woman I had saw as far as American wrestlers go that was like, hey, I'm willing to do hardcore shit too. I can take some chairs, I can take some ladders, tables, whatever the case may be. Remember the night that Triple H and Stone Cold beat the shit out of the Hardy Boys, and then Lita tried to lay over Matt to protect him, and Austin just wailed on her with that fucking chair. Yeah, Lita was great.
God moments.
Lita is without a doubt, she was a pioneer. She was one of those women that helped finally get wrestling out of that women are only good as valets, managers, or, jello matches. No, they can have really fucking good matches. And Lita was one of the first to show the WWE at least. Because, this had been happening in Mexico and Japan forever because they recognized that, it's not just men. Women can do it too.
They can work very well.
WWE just waited, and finally they were like, all right, we'll give Lita and Trish a try. And then it was like, aha, looky there. They're pretty awesome.
True that.
Mm-hmm.
What you got there, Mr. The Torrance?
You know what? I this was one of those, there's so many that I really wanted to mention. So I kind of made a list of about 20 because the old ADHD kicked in there at the right time. But I'm going with, this is someone I'm not sure if either one of you are familiar with, but me being a longtime fan of Japan, Aja Kong, who is one of the most brutal female wrestlers to ever come out of Japan. She has been wrestling now for, I don't know how many years. And if you look her up, you won't be disappointed, especially if you are like me and you like watching really fucked up shit because she has been in some of the most brutal matches in Japanese history, a true legend in her own right. She's actually appeared in AEW as well. So couldn't do this match without mentioning Aja Kong.
God bless.
And I know you guys have nothing to add to this because you don't know who she is, but that's
I don't.
Look her up, kids. All right, Nighthawk, what you got on deck?
That was really the only one that I had.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll give you one that I know you like because we mentioned her last week. Is Paige, because I know you like Paige. Paige is pretty awesome, right? Paige was a great worker. She was another one, much like Lita and Trish before her. Paige helped usher in that new era for this current generation of WWE. That enough of the stupid butterfly divas belt. Paige is here, and she's a legit contender to put on a really good show. So, yeah, I've always been a Paige fan.
And if you've never seen it, go watch Fighting for the Family. That's kind of the story of how Paige got into the WWE. And
Fighting with My Family, yep. Yeah, that was a damn good movie.
It's a good movie. And it's funny to see The Rock get annoyed.
Paige, as well, a great in-ring competitor. And unfortunately, career cut way too short. She got that neck injury a few years back. And it's a shame because we'll never know what could have been for Paige. She won the WWE Women's Championship, which unfortunately was known as the Divas title at the time on her 21st birthday. So she certainly earned it. She was badass. I loved her gimmick. I loved her whole look. And Paige is okay in my book.
I don't have any facts on this next one because I don't. But I gotta
good reason.
I gotta go with Alundra Blaze, taking it back.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
Back then the women's division wasn't as recognized as it is today, but Alundra Blaze definitely held her own back then when she was the women's champion too. Is back in the day, of course. Great worker, great entertainer, one of the top women to set the mark for other women to come into the business.
No doubt about it. Unfortunately for Alundra, her main claim to fame, what people remember her most for, was appearing on Nitro as the WWF Women's Champion and infamously throwing that title belt into the trash can, which was all Eric Bischoff's idea. And it was something that never should have happened. And it kind of, screwed her career, but what a lot of people don't remember is she was a fantastic wrestler. She was the AWA Women's Champion back before she was in WWF, and then after WCW screwed her, she still had a very good career on the lower level known federations at that time. But I always found her to be very underrated, and it sucks because that whole Nitro incident just ruined her, really. But she's a Hall of Famer, and so another one highly deserving of making the list.
Yes, he is.
I gotta mention another great one we just mentioned last week, as a matter of fact, during the program, Miss Luna Vachon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
scratchy voice.
Yeah. Oh, I loved her voice. I loved her look with the shaved hat, like half shaved head, and the spider web tattoo going up her head and all that. Daughter of Mad Dog Vachon. And she was one of those another one, much like was just mentioning earlier, like she was a much better wrestler than she really was known to be, much kind of like Alundra Blaze. Everyone just remembers the awful Nitro. She is mainly known for being like a manager, valet, if you will. But Luna could work, man. No doubt.
No, absolutely. She was one of those scary ones.
Mm-hmm.
Watching her, you didn't know what she was going to do. You know she was capable of doing some shit. She hung out with the oddities. no pun intended.
I almost forgot about that. Wow. Yeah. Remember when she was on Vader's back when he gave the Vader bomb to like Marilyn Manson, Weird Goldust? And she just got smoked. Her face just smacked into the back of Vader's head. So yeah, she could bump. Yeah. But Luna, I was always a fan. Definitely.
Yeah. Next on my list, we kind of talked about her briefly when we brought up Lita, but is the best thing to come out of Canada since maple syrup, Trish Stratus.
Yep. Definitely makes the list, obviously.
She could work. She just wasn't just another, I'm going to put this PG rated because I didn't said child. She wasn't just TNA.
Not just another pretty face.
Correct. She was someone who could work, take the bumps, and move the women's division to the level that it needed to get to, just to show that women aren't just TNA.
Yep. Much like I said about Lita, definitely a pioneer there. And talk about between the two of them, that match they had on Raw. I mean, God, remember the part when Lita went to do the suicide dive out to Trish as she was in front of the railing, and like she just landed the wrong way, and her landed on her head, and her whole body like snapped backwards, and it looked like holy shit, she just broke her neck. But they turned it up. I had never seen a full-fledged American female wrestling match like that until it happened. Because, like you said before that, it was all eye candy shit. ECW had its moments with Francine and Beulah, especially, and Beulah gets an honorable mention because her match with Bill Alfonso on ECW is still one of the greatest things that's ever happened in the world. So,
but ECW was its own entity when it came to their women of wrestling.
Yeah, and ECW, there's no doubt about it. They focused a lot more on the TNA shit, but they did it their way. WWE, for me, just pissed me off with the concept. Oh, it's a tickle fight or a pillow fight or ugh. You know, yeah. At least ECW did it in a way where the women, it added to the story of whatever was going on at the time. It wasn't just, hey, here's boobs just because it's boobs, Yeah.
Facts. Trish Stratus is a 7-time women's champion as well, to add to the facts of Miss Trish Stratus.
Much like Lita, another very deserving WWE Hall of Famer as well.
So that's my list. What else you got?
Well, we can't have a list.
Anybody else?
What?
You got anybody else jotted down or any thoughts?
Give me 1 second.
All right. Well, you do that. We got to mention Mae Young, dude.
Obviously, she went out with Mark Henry.
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone's got to remember our age, anyways. Mae Young, and yeah, let's give her a hand. And
yeah, but she was
the puppies. But yeah, in her time, she was an amazing wrestler, and definitely one of the top stars of women's wrestling in America back in the 60s. Along with someone else you have to mention, of course, right alongside her, the fabulous Moolah. They were two of the biggest female wrestlers ever back in the way back in the days. But yeah, I mean, she was awesome. She was so entertaining. Who could ever forget? She also was the victim of a Bubba Bomb off the ramp and smacked down through the table, which is still one of the most amazingly insane things I've ever seen in pro wrestling history. But Mae Young was awesome. She and was a great wrestler in her own right back in her day. And talk about a lady who could always take a joke, right? Like she just loved being a part of the show. And yeah, you mentioned it. The whole relationship with Mark Henry is still something that in many people's eyes is the most disturbing and hilarious moment in the history of professional wrestling. So.
Oh, it's definitely fucking disturbing. We're not going to go down that road because I don't want nightmares tonight.
Yeah. But speaking of which, yes, the fabulous Moolah, who was one of the longest running women's champion in pro wrestling history, despite the fact that she's rumored to have been not the nicest person in the world. If you've ever watched Dark Side of the Ring, then you'll know what I'm talking about there. But much like Miss Mae Young as well, another very deserving WWE Hall of Famer. And then I put up AJ Lee because I always dug AJ when she was still wrestling before she called it a day. Miss CM Punk herself. I just like the way she would skip down to the ring and just her gimmick of just constantly fucking with her opponent's heads was always fun. So,
Oh yeah.
and then no big surprise, I got Asuka because I love Asuka. Asuka's awesome. Her run in NXT was amazing, and all the way through when she won the Royal Rumble and was still undefeated. Asuka, please bring her back. I don't know where she is. She's literally one of the only reasons why I would bother checking out Monday Night Raw, or maybe you could just cut her and send her to AEW. But anywho,
That was subtle.
So
thanks for noticing. I put Becky Lynch up there because she's another one who in this era has really, put women up there. And not to mention, I mean, the whole man, ever since she's gone with the whole man gimmick, she's taken off like no other woman wrestler that I've seen in a long time really has. I mean, she started being on the man, I mean, those t-shirts sold no shirts had sold that well since like Austin 316 shirts. Yeah, exactly. So she's awesome. I'm happy to see her back. As we mentioned earlier, not very happy to see the way they brought her back, but that's not her fault. A couple other quick nods. Got to give it to Charlotte Flair, mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's Ric Flair's daughter, so hello. Thunder Rosa, who is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, male or female. Definitely giving her a nod. Still one of the only competitors to beat my personal favorite, who I had to put on this list, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Although it doesn't count because technically it was an unsanctioned match, but eh. And then Sherry Martel. Most people remember her only as Sensational Sherry singing the Sexy Boys theme song, but a lot of people don't remember. She was a phenomenal wrestler in her time, so got to give her that. Then I also got to mention one that you guys may not be familiar with. A lovely lass by the name of Judy Grable, who back in the 1950s became one of the first female high flyers of all time in an era where even guys were not jumping off the rope. She was another trailblazer there, if you will. Along with Miss Wendy Richter, who back in 1984 put an end to the Fabulous Moolah's 10-year reign as the WWF Women's Champion with Cyndi Lauper in her corner to boot.
Well, girls just want to have fun.
Fine moment as far as I'm concerned.
And a 10-year run to boot. Let's have some more of those, Vince.
Yeah, thank you, because it's been many moons. Yeah.
You got something on your...
We never see that.
There? I know you...
Bull.
Oh, yes, thank you. I was actually going to put Bull Naka. I can't even remember how to pronounce her last name, but she is another one who is a straight up badass in Japan. I just give it to Japan, dude. They have the best female wrestlers ever.
Obviously.
They really always do. Always have. Speaking of which, Manami Toyota. Now, you guys don't know her? Seriously, look her the funk up. She is perhaps the greatest female wrestler in Japanese history. Perhaps, well, arguably, no, not even arguably, one of the greatest wrestlers in Japanese history. Male or female, doesn't make a difference. Manami is to Japan what, like, Trish Stratus was in her prime to America. An all-star. She's without question the most popular wrestler in Japanese female wrestling history. So
Trish is Canadian.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as far as America versus Japanese audiences. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
I can't think of a woman who really had the kind of popularity in the States that Trish had at her, like a woman who was really an actual wrestler,
right?
Who had the kind of popularity that she did at her peak. I would even say, if you go and look her up, tell you, Toyota is bigger in Japan than even Trish was here. She's on a whole nother level. Incredible athlete. One of those definitely worth looking up. And another reason why I say Japanese women wrestlers are the best.
Mm-hmm. I got 2 more on my countdown here.
I have one more.
Oh, look at you guys coming up with newbies.
I've got I'm gonna throw in there as an honorable mention Sasha Banks, just because
Definitely
she works like no other right now.
Oh, she deserves to be on the list, no doubt.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna give the mention to Ronda Rousey for her time in the WWE.
All right.
Coming straight out of the UFC to a totally different dynamic, and the way she could carry herself and work and change the way that she fought from, I don't want to say real fighting, but to real physical contact in the UFC to a more entertainment platform. She changed it very well, and she deserves a mention on it.
She was able to adapt, unlike anyone I've ever seen who was an actual MMA fighter, to being a professional wrestler. Granted, you had Lesnar, but Lesnar was a pro wrestler first. Then he was the UFC heavyweight champion. Ronda is up there. Yeah. It's still a question of, will she ever come back?
Probably not.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
she's actually very big into gaming on Twitch, which is ironic.
Her and Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. Huh?
Yeah. I don't think we'll see her again. We might see an appearance of her maybe like at a Mania, but nothing will top when she made her appearance at Mania with The Rock, against Triple H and Stephanie there in the ring with the epic beatdown.
Her first match in she was with Angle, not The Rock, right? Wasn't it Angle?
No, it was Mania when Triple H
at
and
Mania.
Stephanie. It was
The Rock was in that match, really?
It wasn't a match. Hurst and Stephanie were.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Hurst and Stephanie were kind of talking shit to The Rock, and The Rock is like, "Oh well, I got a friend in the stand."
Yes, you are right. Yeah. And that led to the match at her debut, which was at WrestleMania, which everyone I think kind of assumed like, oh boy, she's having her first match at Mania. This is not going to turn out well, and she was awesome. Yeah. So yeah.
And then
Ronda, and hell, you got to give her credit, dude. She actually asked permission back when she was still in UFC from the late great Roddy Piper if she could use the moniker Rowdy Ronda Rousey, and he approved. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. No doubt, Rousey is definitely a worthy list member.
And what is on the last one on your list there, Nighthawk?
I just want to see if this offends either of you, to be honest, but...
You know me well enough, nothing offends me.
What?
I said you know me well enough, nothing can really offend me.
Are you sure?
Stephanie?
Wow, all right.
Where to, Stephanie?
Well, the greatest Raw scene ever.
I can't really argue this because Stephanie worked very good as a heel, and she was always the kind of person that, fans wanted to see somebody rough her up, especially when they were doing that whole, oh God, what were they calling it then? Remember when Triple H and Stephanie just ruled all of Raw for a couple of years? Mm-hmm. And they would just fuck with everybody. So I still remember, if I'm not mistaken, Vicky Guerrero's last match in WWE was against Stephanie in a pudding match, I want to say it was. Stephanie always willing to, take a bump and not afraid to laugh at herself and make herself look stupid. So yeah, give her. And she is a former women's champion.
That's it for my list.
Yeah, mine's on the floor.
So you're telling me that Nicole Bass didn't make your list?
No, Nicole Bass. No. Yeah.
The bodybuilder turned wrestler for.
I'll give her credit. I did she worked when she was part of Just Incredible's stable in ECW. Yeah. And she was a good guest on Howard Stern, so.
This is true. But that's
and now she's dead. So.
Ouch.
Well, she is. I'm just stating a fact. A lot of people we talked about are dead.
This is true.
It goes with the show, folks.
Oh, speaking of going with the show, that's going to do it for our time here We appreciate all the likes, shares, subscribes that you guys can give it. Give our socials, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. If we still have a Twitter, I don't know. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah. Wait. So hold on. Which way am I pointing?
I don't know.
That way. That.
Me.
Oh,
Yeah, you got it. Yep.
That down there is his Facebook. That down there is my Instagram and Facebook and also Twitter. And that, nope, that way.
Mhm.
That is your Insta.
Yeah.
I'm on the Insta Slam now.
You weren't
Surprise.
on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I am.
That's your tag there.
Yes. Ooh,
Jack
I didn't know
underscore Torrance.
That's right. I do have one of those.
You
Must
know
have
what
happened.
I noticed like halfway through the show? I don't think I've ever seen an @ like sign that was a capital A.
It's the font I used, you know.
You
No,
and
I
your
know.
fancy
It
fonts.
it threw me off. That's all.
Mm.
But please, we would appreciate it. Go like us, share us, subscribe to us. All of our channels: Amy Young Photography, Diggs the Podcast Kid, Jack Torrance 469. That's gonna do it. We will see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. right here on the YouTubes and on the interwebs as well for the streaming stuff. So, on that note,
Follow
I'm
us
out.
for shenanigans.
yeah, more shenanigans, and we'll have more shenanigans next week. And if you want to be a guest on the show, email us at offtheropestuesday@gmail.com, and we will see if we can accommodate you. Just make sure you bring beer.
There's the password right there.
Good night, all. See you next week.
Hasta la pasta.
See ya.